Obi Toppin, better known as Obi, broke out in a major way during his sophomore campaign with the Dayton Flyers. He led the Flyers to their best regular season in program history, and he was going to be a treat to watch during March Madness. While that didn't come to fruition, his NBA dreams will, and he should end up being a top pick in this year's draft. Standing at 6'9" with a 7'2" wingspan, the 22-year-old power forward put up some of the most impressive highlights in college basketball last season. The Wooden Award winner averaged 20 points per game on tremendous efficiency, which helped him land the most prestigious individual award in college basketball. Toppin is a big-time athlete who has a tremendous vertical jump given his size. He had many highlight dunks during his sophomore season. He also improved his three-point shot going into his second year as he shot 39% from downtown. That big-time athleticism, as well as his three-point shooting, makes him an elite pick-and-roll big. He's a very good screen setter, and he's a threat to pop or roll, and in a pick-and-roll heavy NBA, he should be a lethal threat as an on-ball screen setter. Ball handlers will love having Obi Toppin as a lob threat, and he's also just an all-around solid finisher inside. Now, one thing that sets Toppin apart is he's just an all-around smart player, but especially a smart passer. He's not going to be a guy who's creating a bunch of shots for his teammates at the next level, but he can be plugged into an offense that emphasizes ball movement, and he'll be able to consistently make the right pass. His college coaches and teammates also raved about his personality, how hard of a worker Toppin was, and how coachable he was. This is a guy whose work ethic could make him an NBA All-Star. And from the outside looking in, coachability is often overlooked in regards to the draft process. This is a guy who you can tell wants to be great, and he's willing to receive any coaching that'll help him get there. You can't say that about all the projected lottery picks in this year's draft. Now, in terms of Toppin's weaknesses that could cause him to fall out of the top 5 on draft day, he plays very stiff and has tight, high hips. This hurts him mostly on the defensive end, as he cannot turn his hips well in order to stay in front of offensive players. It also hurts his lateral quickness, which limits his defensive upside. He's likely going to be a power forward at the NBA level, and that lack of lateral quickness could hurt him guarding some of the more mobile and quicker fours in the NBA. His defensive awareness could also use some work. Oftentimes, he's slow in his rotations as a help side defender. He's also not quite as good of a rebounder as his athleticism suggests he should be. He only averaged 5.6 rebounds per game his freshman year and only 7.5 rebounds per game in his sophomore season. How well he'll rebound at the NBA level is a definite question mark given his lack of rebounding productivity in college. Toppin shows flashes of being able to create for himself off the dribble, including hitting some threes off the dribble as well as being a slasher. But this area of his game could definitely use some work. This part of his offensive game, I think, is the most important factor to determining how good of an offensive player he'll become at the next level. He's also the oldest prospect projected to go in the draft lottery, and despite only playing 2 seasons in college, on draft night it will be 4 months before his 23rd birthday. So as always, I'll bring in Eric Brandt to discuss Obi Toppin, and out of all the draft profiles, I have to have Eric on this one especially because Obi Toppin has been his draft crush since the start of the basketball season. He was on board the Obi Toppin train before Obi Toppin was a projected lottery pick, before he blew up at the University of Dayton. I remember Eric contacting me earlier in the season saying, you see this Obi Toppin guy? He looks really, really good. And I caught some Obi Toppin myself, and he also kind of became my draft crush. Eric has him number 3 on his big board. I have him number 4. Either way, I think Obi Toppin is a top 5 prospect for sure in this draft. I'm going to let you start with him since this is your draft crush. I'm going to let you lead this. So just give me your thoughts on Obi Toppin.
Well, first of all, I think the only thing holding him back right now is the fact that he's 22 years old. If he was 19 or 20, I think he would be easily the first pick in this draft. But with Obi, he had a 4-inch growth spurt after his senior year of high school. He wasn't even on like Division One radars coming out of high school. And so he decided to stay and go to an academy, and that ended up being a really good decision for him. He's actually the guy I am the most disappointed at that the March Madness got canceled this year, because I really wanted to see if he could carry Dayton to a Final Four, possibly a championship. I thought that would have been really interesting to see how his game fared. You know, as in a smaller school, you see guys like Steph Curry do it from a guard position, but it's a lot more rare for a big man at a small school. And they had some crafty guards on Dayton, which I enjoyed watching because they found ways to get him the ball. They had guys who could penetrate and get him lobs and stuff like that. But man, it's just so fun to watch Obi play. He's so athletic. He can shoot the ball. He can pass. He can dribble a little bit. Like, there's not much he can't do on the court. And he's just a really athletic, exciting player.
He is a highlight waiting to happen. He put up some amazing highlights at the University of Dayton. So this, maybe more than any rookie not named LaMelo Ball, might be the one guy people really want to watch. You know, there's hype around Anthony Edwards. People want to see James Wiseman play because he barely played in college. But this is a guy you got to tune in for. And if you tune into a game where Obi Toppin is playing, it's going to be entertaining because 6'9" with his vertical leap, I want to know what his vertical leap actually is, because he can jump out of the gym at his height. He's big, strong, so he's the type of guy that'll put a poster on somebody. But then he's not just like an athletic guy that can dunk. He has some ball handling ability, and he can shoot off the dribble a little bit, and he can catch and shoot. Has a pretty smooth stroke for his size, and just seems like a well-rounded player on the offensive end. Now, there are question marks about his defense. If he was a surefire lockdown defensive player, even at the age 22, I think he would go number one. But the biggest question marks are surrounding his defense. I want to hear what you think about his defensive question marks.
So I think the on-ball defense is valid, that the concerns about it. He does tend to stand upright a lot in his stance, and that gets him into trouble. But I feel like he is really smart off the ball, is always in good positions, and I think that is more of a skill needed in the NBA when most people can't keep guys in front of them. If they're going to blow by you, they're going to blow by you. So it's really hard to keep especially a wing in front of you in the NBA, especially with the rules not being able to hand check and all that kind of stuff, not being able to play much of a zone, at least packing the paint in a zone. So I'm not too concerned with how athletic he is. I'd be surprised if he can't find a way to improve that. And I really like he gets after the rebounds, like boxing out. He locates a guy and puts a body on him and just takes him out. And I really like that versus just a player who uses his athletic ability to turn around and just go for the ball instead of like making sure his man isn't going to get an offensive rebound.
Yep. I think the biggest issue with his defense is he's a little stiff. And I don't really know how exactly you fix that. And even offensively, he looks a little bit stiff. He's not the most fluid athlete unless he's in the open court lining up some crazy windmill dunk.
That's the crazy part is he looks like he's kind of stiff, like you said, but then he'll catch the ball and in one step do like a windmill crazy dunk. And it's like, how did you even do that with that little space? It's like, if he can do that kind of stuff, I can't believe that he can't get down further in his stance on defense.
Yeah, I don't know, man. If he's able to become more fluid, I think it would help him just in terms of his lateral quickness if he's able to slide his feet, because he just looks a little heavy-footed when he's trying to slide defensively. And then offensively, if he just becomes more fluid with the ball, a little bit shiftier, I think he has all-star, maybe even superstar potential, because at his size, with his athleticism, with the ball handling package he already has, with the flashes of being able to hit threes off the dribble, he has some passing upside, I think, too. Isn't that what you look for in a guy potentially becoming an all-star level offensive player? I like the package. I like the package that he has. It's just bringing it all together, being able to do it at the NBA level. He's not some phenomenal ball handler. I'm not trying to paint the picture like he's some guy that's going to shake everyone off the dribble at the NBA level. So he could stand to improve a little bit with that. It'll be interesting to see how he handles the ball at that level. But just in terms of what he can do right now, I think he definitely has a top 3 or 4 upside in this draft. I think that's why I have him number 4 and you have him number 3, because pretty much everybody I have below this, it's hard seeing them have the same upside that Toppin does.
And you had a Kongwu as your safest pick in the draft, and Obi is that for me. I just feel like his game is suited for the NBA. I feel like his form is going to be good enough to consistently hit down the 3 with the further back 3-point line. And I don't know, it's just his raw athleticism and just the way he plays the game. He still has a lot of room to improve since he hasn't really been in his body that long. It's only been a few years. So like he's still getting used to being 6'9", I think. So I just think his skills translate to the NBA really well, and I think he's definitely a safe bet. But that almost hurts people in drafts nowadays. Like people don't want safe; they want to take like high risk, high reward type players. But but it's funny because like you said, even though he's 22, I feel like he still has some upside. It's not like he's who he's going to be and can't improve at all.
Yeah, I want to know if this is a crazy comparison. But I see some of the things that Anthony Davis is able to do offensively. And if Toppin can kind of reach his ceiling, I could see Toppin doing a lot of the same things AD does on the offensive end. I think he could be a good face-up player, but then his quickness and his ball handling ability, he should be able to take bigs to the rim to be able to attack the rim. It's just, if Toppin pans out, the things that AD does offensively, I think Toppin would be able to do the same things. Is that crazy? Am I crazy for thinking that?
If you're just talking about offensively, I don't think it's that crazy. If you're talking about defensively, I don't see him being anywhere close to Anthony Davis on that end. Agree. So that's what'll hold him back. But offensively, I agree he has the skills to be an Anthony Davis type on the offensive end.
Toppin will be one of the most heavily watched players his rookie season. He is one of the guys that I'm most excited to watch. It'll be interesting to see how his game translates from the college level to the NBA level. I hope he ends up in a good situation. I hope he ends up being able to play heavy minutes at the start of his career, because I think that will be best for his development, and I want to see him reach his ceiling. This is one of those guys that's a well-liked person, has a good personality, is a hard worker, so I want to see him reach that ceiling and just see how high his potential truly is.
Absolutely.
So this wraps up the Toppin draft profile. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of Obi Toppin down in the comment section below. Also, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. We're going to be putting out around 60 draft profiles for you guys. We're just getting started. We're at the top of the draft, but we'll go all the way through our second round prospects as well. So anyway, that wraps up this video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you later. Peace.